Hello everyone, I'm Christopher from GizChina Germany, today with a review of the Onda V820W, which is the cheapest Windows 8.1 Android 4.4.4 dual boot tablet PC available these days. So let's get right into that. The tablet PC is delivered in this box. It's kind of the usual Chinese Windows tablet box, you know. We have an Onda logo on the top here, we have a little picture of the tablet here, and of course the obligatory Intel Inside badge on the lower corner, and on the rear we find a sticker containing some hardware specs in Chinese. Besides the tablet PC you can see here, you also get a micro USB cable for data transfer, and of course also charging the tablet PC. You get a user manual for Android, which actually is in English language, and another user manual for Windows, which only is in Chinese. You also get a warranty certificate. You get a 2 ampere volt charger, or it's 2.5 ampere if I'm not wrong. Let me just check that out. Yep, 2.5 amperes. And we also have a quality check certificate. So this is what the Onda V820W looks like. It's completely white and made from polycarbonate except the front, which is a glass panel with a protective film on it. We have a front camera on here, we have a status LED on here, and we have the obligatory Windows logo, which is touch sensitive in the case of this tablet. Let's have a look around the slide, and here you can see the micro SD slot. Let's go around the tablet a little bit. On the other side we find a volume rocker and the on-off switch. On the upper side we find a micro USB port with OTG support and a micro HDMI port, as well as the 3.5mm headphone jack of the tablet. On the rear we find the camera labeled with digital camera. Seems like they're pretty proud of that. And of course the Onda logo. And a little note about which model we have here. We have two models available, one with 16GB, which is the cheapest dual boot tablet available right now at 113 bucks, and the 32GB model, which I have here, which is priced at 129 bucks, and also pretty cheap in my opinion. Else we find the media speaker of the tablet PC here. Regarding the build quality, I'm not all that impressed this time. It's all made from plastic, but usually even those plastic tablets have a metal chassis inside to be more solid. That's not the case here, which means you can bend this tablet pretty easy. Which isn't much of a problem if you use the tablet at the comfort of your home, but as soon as you carry that around with you, and probably in your backpack, and put something on it, or just bend it too far inside of there, you might break your screen, and that's obviously not what you like to have. Also, the remaining parts of the build quality aren't that good. Look at this cutout for the micro SD slot. Build quality isn't overly high here. You can see that's not cut out pretty well. And what I also noticed is that we have some creaking noises going on here. Can you hear that? Don't like that at all. Build quality could have been much better, but on the other hand, if you went for the 16GB model, this is probably for 113 bucks something that you can live with. So from build quality and design, let's immediately move towards the screen. We have an 8-inch panel here with a 1280 by 800 pixel resolution. And this isn't a lot for 8 inches, yes, but pixels aren't that huge, surprisingly, which in my opinion is due to the fact that they are using a panel with a higher pixel density here and scale the resolution down to it. While with Windows this is working perfectly well, it isn't with Android, as fonts and so on look kinda blurry on here. And also everything is kinda small. It seems like they screwed up the DPI settings with this ROM, and that definitely needs to be fixed. Also, the screen is pretty good for a tablet of this price level. It has really good colors, great brightness, great contrast, really nothing to complain about here. It's no OGS panel of course, but an IPS panel, so viewing angles are also pretty good. Let me just give you a close-up of the screen to see the pixels. Here you go. So overall, I really like the screen. I also like the touch panel. It's working pretty good, very precise. It's got a bit of a low resolution. As you can see here, we have some lags going on when scrolling like this, but don't have them going on when scrolling like this. So this means the touch dots are a little far away, but it's nothing overly disturbing in my opinion. So let's come to performance. I did some screenshots of benchmarks that I run on this tablet PC, so let me just show them to you. First of all, the 3D Mark benchmark. Let me flip that over. 14,765 points in the iStorm Limited test isn't that bad, but you might wonder why it reached only 5,337 points in the iStorm Extreme test and 9,018 points in the normal iStorm 720p test. That's happening after the latest Android firmware update. I don't know why. Whatever the reason is, we got maxed out with the previous firmware version, so that's probably some bug or something. Looking at other benchmarks, you see that the tablet is fairly powerful with almost 19 FPS for the Manhattan benchmark, which is pretty impressive, meaning that the SoC inside of there, which is a Intel Z3735F, x86 quad-core SoC, has a pretty good GPU inside, and this also gets confirmed again with the Anomaly 2 benchmark, which is 400,107 points, and that's almost as high as the Snapdragon 801. So we have a pretty powerful SoC for such a cheap tablet PC going on here. Also, Wilamo scores are pretty high, and Antutu score is pretty high. Really nothing to complain about here as far as performance goes, in my opinion. Also, the performance in real life is very, very good. There are no lags. There are no Android games at all that max the SoC out. You can play every high-end game on it smoothly at highest settings, including Modern Combat 5, Re-Racing 3, Asphalt 8, all that stuff is working just smooth on here. What I don't like though is that the Android firmware is kind of buggy. First of all, we have a status LED, but this is not working. It's just flickering around sometimes, but not really giving you any information at all. Also, the Windows button isn't working, but that's the case for Windows as well. It seems to be some bug with the BIOS. It is working sometimes after you shut down the tablet into standby, but then after a few minutes it suddenly stops working. You can't wake it up anymore with this button and have to use the power switch. What I also don't like about the operating system, as I said before, is the DPI settings. The UI looks kinda blurry. That's not the case for Windows, that's only for Android. Another thing I don't like is that under Android, the CPU is constantly running at 1.8 gigahertz, which is the maximum it can do in Turbo Boost, which sucks in terms of battery life and heat production. The tablet is getting really hot if you play games on Android. What I like though is that we have unified storage here of 6.5 GB. That's plenty for games and applications, but I don't like about that we can't move the apps to an external SD card that we have plugged into the tablet, which means if you used up your 6.5 GB of memory here, you can't install any more apps. I really would have liked some app to SD implementation here. That's something I totally miss. For Windows, the partition size is 13 GB in case you wonder. And I don't know what's it for the 16 GB version, but it isn't probably that much. And this means that with the 16 GB version, you will quickly get into trouble in terms of memory under Android. What I also don't like about this operating system or the Android port on here is that you can't do OTA updates. There are system updates here, but this doesn't work. You can look for a new update and it says your system is up to date, but it isn't. Onda does release updates on their websites, but you have to flash them manually with your PC, and that's not exactly easy. It took me over a week to figure out how that actually works. There have been some tutorials online, but they didn't work exactly well. Now I'm waiting for the next update to happen and maybe do a tutorial on how to flash that on your Onda V820W. Yeah, but all in all, performance is pretty good. Windows is working fine, and I for myself really came to the conclusion that I don't really need dual boot on a tablet PC. If I have Windows on a tablet PC, I'm constantly going to use Windows. I haven't used Android at all during daily use. I just did it for benchmarks and some gaming tests, and that's it. I always used Windows for productive work, for entertainment and all that stuff. Let's move over to Multimedia Performance, and for this purpose I've moved some 4K pictures on the tablet PC to show you how fast these are loading. They are located on my SD card, which is a little slow, so don't worry about the loading times here. But look at this. This slideshow is going very smooth. Zooming, pinch to zoom is working smooth, moving the pictures is working smooth, so that's not much of an issue. Let's have a look at something more task intensive, for example videos, and we are talking of course Ultra HD. Now Ultra HD is something that not many devices these days can play, and especially not in the low cost area, and this is a low cost tablet and it can play Ultra HD videos, which is pretty impressive. So let me just show you that this is working both at Windows and Android, so don't worry about this. And as you can see, this video is being played very smooth now, and I can jump around without any huge lags. So this really is an entertainment tablet, and if you attach it to your TV, for example, through HDMI, it can be used as a media box, as a set-top box, and that's pretty neat in my opinion. Regarding audio quality, I have to say that I'm pretty impressed as far as the 3.5mm headphone jack output goes, but that's nothing surprising. Intel chipsets are known for very high audio quality, and that's the case here as well. The internal media speaker is kind of a letdown. It's not bad, but it's, well, a mono speaker. It does distort at high volume. Has a little bass, so it's acceptable for quick videos, but nothing for serious hi-fi enjoyment. And as so often, I will give you a quick demo of the audio quality right now. Regarding reception quality, there isn't really much to say this time, because this tablet does only support Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. There is no GPS and no 3G support integrated, though you can attach any 3G dongle onto your micro USB port on top of there and then access 3G networks. So for Wi-Fi performance, I haven't always been impressed, but it hasn't been bad as well. It's somewhere in the mid-range. I can't move through the whole house being connected to one single router without losing connection, which is normal here. Most devices have that, but reception quality isn't bad at all. It's like, look, I have 3 bars right now to the router above me, so we have one wall in between. That's not bad at all in my opinion, but nothing high-end. Bluetooth performance has been pretty good. I tested that with my Bluetooth media speaker and it didn't have any issues at all. I could move freely through 2 rooms and didn't have any issues here. So what about battery life? It's a bit confusing with this tablet. Onda claims the V820W to feature a 4000 milliamps battery. Now some benchmark apps claim there is a 5000 milliamp cell inside. I don't know what's true. Whatever it is, I pulled the tablet open and took a look at the cell, and there is no printing on it, which means I can't figure out that easily which type of cell they built in here. Now I have some device that measures the charging current that flows through the cable, and this one told me that it has 4300 milliamps. Now this device usually is a little below the real value to ensure it doesn't display too high milliampere amounts. So in my opinion, probably is a 5000 milliampere cell, and Onda did label that wrong, which is surprising because usually if Chinese companies label the battery wrong, they are displaying higher milliamp values than they build inside. Whatever it is, the battery life is fairly okay for a tablet that cheap and for an 8-inch tablet with such a powerful CPU inside. I've reached about 4 to 5 hours of screen on time on average under Windows. Can't tell you much for Android, and because I didn't use that too much, let me just boot into Windows right now. So I usually am using Spotify, Office, the Internet Explorer, Facebook application, Skype application at once. So that's the application I'm running and using over the day during productive usage. And well, as I said, 4 to 5 hours, not all too bad at this price level and for the size of the tablet PC. So we already reached the final conclusion part of this review. And well, I have to say that although I'm not all that impressed with the build quality of this tablet PC, I consider it as a really good device in terms of performance and how it's working. It has a few software bugs, but that's something I personally can live with, and I think most of you can too. And I believe they will be fixed sooner or later, as Onda is releasing both BIOS and operating system updates regularly. Now, which one should you buy? If you go for the 16GB version, you really get one of the cheapest Windows 8.1 Android durable tablets available these days, or the cheapest tablet at $113. But if you go for the 32GB version and pay $129, you probably worry about build quality, and that's the point where you probably should consider having a look at other tablets, like the TechLast V820W, or however it is called. They also have a cheap durable tablet available. It's a little bit more expensive, but it features a metal back, a guaranteed 5000 milliamps battery, and well, it appears to be a little better in terms of build quality, but I can't tell you anything about the software because I haven't tested it so far. So that's something you should have a closer look at and decide for yourself. But else, it appears to be a really good and solid tablet for the price. And well, at $113 you can't do that much wrong in my opinion. So that's from my side. I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope it was helpful for you. If it was, please don't hesitate to leave a comment or a thumbs up, and maybe even subscribe to the channel. If you like what we are doing at GizChina Germany or GizChina in general, make sure to catch up with us on social networks like Facebook, Twitter and Google+. I say bye, and now you will get a little performance demo of the tablet. See you soon with more reviews. Over and out.